stage. That was a bit of a mouthful, but at any rate, we're moving quickly toward the land finals, which will be held July 10th or 14th in Beijing and covered in English at the Beyond the Summit Studios in LA. Here at the Not Beyond the Summit Studio in Not LA, we'll be covering this match. Vikram to caster, and joined this time by co-caster Baseskip. How you doing?
Yeah, doing pretty well. Looking forward to some more ECL. Had some time off, I suppose. But yeah, looking forward to some more of this event, and we're in Group D, right? We're just about to wrap this one up.
Yep.
Awesome.
And this is actually the last game of the last series. So, and actually a lot rides on the game. It's Musi versus Whut, and the winner. So if Whut wins, I'm not entirely sure what exactly happens. If XM wins, or X, or whatever they're calling themselves today, if Musi wins, they definitely advance. So they will be the land final with Rattlesnake out of this group, and of course with all the Asian teams. You know, some you don't. I mean, or Tongfu, LGD, both LGDs, DK, IG, all that good stuff. But if X lose, and what actually takes this out, you have a three tie. Three teams that all have 3 wins and 2 losses, and I'm not 100% sure what happens in that case. We'll discuss it at the time. I guess take us through the draft so far.
So far, from Whut, we've got a ban on OD and Wisp, and then we've got Batrider and Visage banned by Muxi. Train Protector, interestingly, is going to make it all the way through, and so far completely ignored by both teams. The first pick is going to be the Dragon Knight, which I find, not wholly unusual, but yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one so far, and no immediate response to the DK. I'm kind of surprised to see that. So maybe you can walk me through this a little bit more, having been casting this event for a little bit longer, because I'm not sure what's going on. Where's the Train Protector?
Yeah, right. Well, I feel like Train is still finding his footing in some scenes, especially among Chinese teams. Sometimes he's picked up very high, sometimes he's sort of completely. I'm not sure every team really has a grip on how they want to use this hero. In fact, I'm not even sure that the teams that already pick him have that great a grip on how to use him. But certainly he's a hero we haven't seen that much in this event in particular. That said, if Whut wanted him, I think he'd be a pretty compliment, especially now that they have the Weaver run DK mid, Weaver offlane, or even DK tri-lane, Weaver offlane, and something else in the mid that they can dump the Train Protector on. They did an OD, so one of the common pairs for that Train Protector.
Yeah, I'm actually very surprised to see that. Well, pretty much first ban on the OD, so maybe a little bit shell-shocked after a game against him at some point. You can't. There are just some heroes that nobody wants to play against, and I think Treant is quickly becoming one of those for a lot of people. So maybe it's just the OD is similar. He's such a nuisance. You end up having to not really. He completely stops you from running an aggressive tri-lane because he's going to win the majority of his 1v1 mid matchups, if not all of them. So it gets pretty tough. Muxi, they're going to pick up a triple melee lineup so far, so I'm a little bit intrigued at that. We'll see how that ends up working out for them. I feel like relatively easy to punish. I'd really like to see an aggressive tri-lane maybe being formed up here by the Radiant side.
Yeah, and I think that's something that still pull off with their composition. Weaver is actually pretty good in the tri context against Lifestealer, so not a hero you usually want to run as part of tri-lane. You can with the right supports up against that Lifestealer, and you should actually be in pretty good shape. I don't think the next Assassin materially changes the matchup, so that's certainly something they could. So there we go. That moves a little more towards Weaver solo, because Rian is just very, very, very strong with that. Although maybe they could still make it happen, have the Weavers die very, very heavily and place a ton of pressure in a tri-lane situation. But I think more likely that Rian forms the first stool of the first leg of a 3-legged tri-lane, and the Weaver solo.
Yeah, and the Weaver solo, he's going to be solo, but the pressure applied by a Weaver with a Train Protector is absolutely crazy. And again, a melee support for Muxi, so there's no chance for the Nyx Assassin to drive the Weaver out of the lane. If it ends up being 1v1, the Nyx Assassin trying to push the Weaver out, it's never going to happen. The Nyx Assassin will die if he tries to do too much. So hopefully going to be seeing one last ranged support, but even then, like a lot of the more right-clicky supports, I suppose, are kind of out of the pool so far. So I think the Weaver is going to have an amazing time on top. Lifestealer should still get his farm, but we'll see what ends up ends up happening again. I'm having like I'm a little bit afraid of the Train Protector and the Weaver myself, so I'm not
Sure.
We'll have to see how this works out.
It's definitely a terrifying combination. I wouldn't mind seeing something like a Lina for the 4th pick here for Musi. I feel like if they pair that up with the next success, they can at least theoretically bring the Weaver down fast enough that he can't. Or by the time he actually shook it, they've done a lot of damage. They go with the Keeper of Light. Also a pretty decent option. I don't know how much work Chakra Magic is going to do in this link, per se, but the Illuminate certainly could catch the Weaver out even if he's stealthed, and that be a big deal. Maybe they're anticipating something of a 3v3 battle shaping up as well, in which case Illuminate can go through on 3 targets and then sort of overwhelm the Train Protector's ability to block it or heal it up. So that's not a bad pick either. It gives them a pretty solid tri-lane. I think the onus is on what to sort of decide how heavily they want to actually pressure this Musi tri-lane, whether they leave it mostly unfettered or whether they actually decide to just go right up into it.
Wow, okay, so I'm not exactly sure what this Enchantress is going to be doing. I mean, Enchantress, there's both Chen and Enchantress available in the pool, and if you thought that the Radiant were going to be defensive, then you know the Chen is probably the more stable pickup. So we'll see what they're going to do here. This might be, you know, some aggressive jungle Enchantress also being backed up by the Train Protector, working with the Weaver. I was thinking as soon as we saw the Keeper of the Light that what's it? How are you pronouncing it? Sorry, I'm gonna mispronounce it and say Muxi, but
Musi.
Mushi.
I mean, whatever. MX.
MX. Okay, so
the weird thing is on the website they're listed as them, but maybe it's a name. Maybe it's like somebody's name, because then that would be last name, first name, which is pretty typical. But I honestly don't know.
Okay.
Their logo says Musi. MX.
MX, fair enough. I won't butcher it any further than that. So the one thing that they could look to do is keep the Darkseer in the jungle sped along a little bit by the Keeper of the Light. They can run a ton of stacks, they can get a ton of farm between the two of them. And then if the Darkseer is up on top, then you can, you know, occasionally poke your head out, throw an Ion Shell on the Nakes maybe, and then look to try and get a kill on the Weaver. Again, they're a little bit light on the lockdown with the Keeper of the Light, so I think maybe they're just going to be sitting back in farming, but Darkseer and Coddle definitely a good pairing to do that. So we'll see how much pressure this Enchantress ends up applying. Again, a hero that if you pick it, you have to make use of it, because she's going to fall off a cliff before the late game, and you have to make full, you know, get the full use out of that aggressive early push. They've got a lot of good push as well. I mean, Dragon Knight, once you get 6, they can start to group up and just bring down towers, though it will be a little bit difficult against the Coddle. So we'll see how much this Enchantress gets done.
I wouldn't mind seeing that aggressive jungle Enchantress, honestly. They are on Radiant, so it's better to it's a much better position than ever on Dire to do the aggressive. With Treant, usually we don't see Treant run an aggressive tri-lane capacity, but I actually think maybe with Weaver Enchantress it could work. Just disrupt the jungle very heavily, make it impossible for MX to actually get their pulse and just harass them consistently coming out of the jungle. With Alchemist added, now sort of the lanes are really opening up in my opinion, because MX can run Lifestealer solo safe, for instance. They could run an aggressive tri-lane against what's potential safe, or the exact opposite or mid, and then DK solo safe.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure either. There's a lot of sort of interesting game theory kind of decision making to go on here. Like, the, you know, if the Darkseer thinks the Enchantress is going to go aggressive, then he should really come down to the bottom lane to make sure that he puts pressure on whoever's farming there, because it's only going to be a duo lane with the Train Protector, and the Train Protector can't really harass you out of the lane that well. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting possible configurations for the lanes. We'll have to see how it ends up working out.
Definitely. Alright, let's go ahead and introduce the teams. Both teams playing for the right, I think, to head to the LAN finals of the ECL. So, a lot on the line for this game, actually. This is definitely the closest group stage we've had this far. Basically 3 teams on the running to make the LAN finals. So, 365 will be piloting up the Weaver here as in the, I guess, basically the primary role of this team. He's got these Armored Skeleton wings, nice little set. And he'll be supported by YZB on the Enchantress and 290 on the Train Protector. And then we have 8737 on the Windrunner. It currently looks to be a solo lane configuration, not a mid configuration. That leaves Jing, yeah, he's definitely going up in the middle. You see him saving for bottle already. It will be DK mid, Windrunner, it looks like possibly offlane, and I guess a defensive lane.
Yeah, and meanwhile on the MX side, we are going to have Ya playing the Alchemist. TTTTT. No, how many T's is that? TTTTTTT is going to be on the Nyx Assassin. KKK is going to be on the Lifestealer. Pazai, I don't know, on the Keeper of the... What?
No, I'm just kidding.
just messing with me. And then finally, I looked this up before the game. I think it's FYMS on the Darkseer. I tried to do the old Google Translate, but that didn't quite work out so well. So I just looked at his past aliases. So I guess.
Well, the first letter is definitely a musical note. I know that much.
It's definitely that much. Yeah.
All right, FYMS it is.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with that.
Fair enough. But we just have to have something to call him.
Yeah, I think Darkseer's actually okay in the solo lane. There's no stuns. I mean, there actually literally are no stuns except Enchantress if she gets us in her.
Yeah, that's not great, honestly, unless the Enchantress is going to be defensively jungling. Does have a smoke, so it can look to apply some pressure to the Alchemist mid, or maybe get the kill off on the Darkseer on bot. But again, Treant Protector is not the greatest when it comes to actually killing anybody ever, so we'll see how this ends up working out. I'm very surprised to see that they're not taking advantage of the aggressive power of the Weaver.
I agree.
On that offlane to try and pressure, so... Yeah,
I actually think that their fates would have been a lot better running the aggressive try, where I think it actually matters less that they had a lack of stuns because they could just put an extreme amount of pressure on the opposing three heroes. But this is what we'll go with then. You did say Alchemist mid, but it actually looks to be Lifestealer mid. So what do you think about this choice and putting the Alchemist in the solo? And sorry, the tri-lane.
I mean, I think both of them cope pretty well with the Dragonite, as you can see. I mean, KKK is already going in pretty aggressively, and the Alchemist, if you give him space, then he definitely uses it. He's going to pick up the first point in the stun to start. I guess nice for, a potential kill on the Windrunner early on, but I mean, Alchemist on mid, he's probably going to have to go for, a more aggressive 1v1 kind of build, kind of gankier build. Lifestealer doesn't have to adjust too much, and putting the Alchemist on top, he can just go Greevil's Creed and farm up the Storm. And, I mean, the lanes from Whut are very defensive, so I think he should get off to a pretty good start. And I mean, comparing the carries, Lifestealer, Alchemist against Dragonite and Weaver, I feel like I really have to give the edge to the Dire side here. And if they get off to a good start in terms of farm, then it's going to become a little bit difficult to stop them. So I feel a lot of pressure on this Enchantress. Again, you pick it up, you got to make use of it.
I agree. Unless, of course, though, Midas, Aghanim's, and 5 Hyperstones Enchantress, that's always a potential scale tipper. But I agree with you. The Windrunner obviously wasn't really able to generate any pressure up on this tri-lane, so putting Alchemist here means that they can level Greevil's Greed. I think maybe they still had the option, if they had seen the aggressive try, of then switching to Lifestealer, who can cope with that pressure better, and then sending Loftus after all. But here, now that the lanes are pretty much set, at least for the early game, that opportunity, you already see, as you mentioned, the Alchemist having time to level Greevil's Greed, rather than most likely spray and stable concoction, just would have to build in the middle. And Lifestealer should be okay here too. He's now level 3, he's got 1 of each rank of ability. I was interested they went Feast first, but really they didn't take advantage of that, but maybe they do here. His Nair coming out from the Enchantress, and he wants to get the Centaur Conqueror as well, but just not time. Helps KKK get out. It took a little late on that gank, actually. Nyx Assassin coming in with a double damage rune. Going to get 1 hit off on a 737, but he's got the living armor now, trying to fight back. Level 1, no spells other than Windrun, and Nyx Assassin walked away as well. A little bit of a dying that fight. Nothing ends up actually happening.
Yeah, I think Enchantress actually misplayed that a little bit. Not so much in the actual gank, but she smoked when she'd come down the ridge, and I think she actually got spotted by the Dire ward, so he might have been expecting it, but again, Alchemist, it's very, very difficult to gank with the Enchantress, and I mean, losing out on some time on the Enchantress, I mean, it's pretty important. You have to, if you're going to go for a gank, it's a big time investment, you really do have to connect it. I mean, and Nyx just shrugged it straight back to farming, so... yeah, Enchantress going to be playing catch up a little bit from this point forward. And if the next gank doesn't connect, then I mean, it sounds really crazy to say that, you know, oh, one unsuccessful gank, can be game over, but it does really slow you down. And you know, the opportunity cost of ganking versus just farming up to get to level 6 quickly is a pretty big deal.
Right.
It is a hero where you have to stay ahead.
Yeah.
And
when you're the team that needs to actually bring an opportunity in the top, there's unstable action. Leon are doing a lot of work, but no, the Windrunner are not able to stay alive, and that'll be the first blood for MX. And I agree. I think, as you said, Biscuit, any time you're spending not getting ganks as Enchantress early it's lost time. It's your game plan sort of already faltering in that respect. If they're not to generate pressure on the Lifestealer middle or any pressure observer on the Alchemist top, they might find themselves quite a bit behind. And you scale well, but Alchemist scales a lot faster. Oh,
yeah, and I mean,
another attempt actually. The only unstable action from long range. 8737 already almost half health. Illuminate coming through, mana burn as well, but not quite enough with a living armor. When we're able to lift that second one, will they try to punish via TP or? Because the entire MX team is now wedged between the tier 1 and the tier 2. Alchemist actually fairly low life. Windrunner signaling to her mates that for the light now. Way deep. Pizza has no TP scroll. He's now heading between sort of near the tier 2 top. 8737 just buxing mid, trying to chew his way through the trees here, but he's quite low already. I came in list. Dragon Eye rotating around G just to pick up that kill. So that'll equalize a lot of time spent, but that's critical levels for the Windrunner. It was really, really fun behind that Darkseer. Still behind, but in better shape now.
Yeah, so they're all doing reasonably well now up to level 3, so we'll be able to get some farm, can keep power shotting. Alchemist is almost 6, so we won't care too much about the harassment. The Harpy on mid gets hit by the Infest, so Nake's sick of the spam there. But yeah, right now, just overall a pretty stally game, and Darkseer already doing fantastically on bot. I mean, talking about perhaps TP gank, or TP counters on the top lane, who's going to TP Enchantress? She's got no creeps. Treant Protector can, come up and maybe throw a 90 damage punch, but Whut, they've got a kind of lumbering lineup, at least for the early game, until the Weaver and the Dragon Knight kind of get going. So
yeah, it have to be the Weaver of the DK, I suppose. Jing actually taking a lot of damage from KKK. Forcefully out here. Was this gate? I mean, half the enchant available in 1 second. That didn't quite happen, so Lifestealer walks away slow with that face boot. He's quite mobile. Jing generating a little bit of pressure on the tier 1 tower, but not really that much just yet. If we look for farm, oh, actually, KKK wants to re-enter, uses open wounds on Jing. It's a decent amount of damage. Shoot through the living armor already. Living armor number 2 is there's the Dragon Tail. Turn no mana to actually do Dragon Breath. One more hit on KKK, but he's actually right. And YDB really not in the right place at the right time to generate the opportunity in the Enchantress. And I think, as you said, yeah, it's a lot of lost time. Almost nothing to show for it from this Enchantress.
Yeah, I mean, we're heading towards 6 minutes, only level 4, so she's definitely behind the curve right now. And if you get lucky on the jungle Enchantress, you can be starting to get towards, level 8 by sort of the 7-minute mark, so a little bit behind right now. I'm very surprised to see that she hasn't been going for ganks in the Darkseer. She's been getting, trolls and centaurs, which are both fantastic for trying to get him down. The difficulty is that, yeah, the Treant Protector doesn't help them out too much, but, I mean, so long as he only has 1 point in Surge, then if you control trap him for the duration of that, then you should be able to set up a kill. So I'm kind of surprised to see that the attention is all being put towards the Lifestealer on mid. He's got Rage, he's now got Infest. I feel like it's just go back to farming, honestly. If you're not going to be... he's so much more difficult to bring down.
Another duel between Jing and KKK here, and
yeah.
KKK is getting the better of these engagements. I mean, the lane is still fairly even. In fact, I think Dragon is a little bit ahead, 34 to 25%. But Gambit have put Lifestealer here really paying off. I mean, they have the Lifestealer getting okay farm, and the Alchemist is able to great farm, 44 for 13 now, with 3 in Greevil's Root, actually with 4. So really, I think MX, they have to get... They're only tied on kills, but really no pressure to onto them. And Rage will keep KKK safe from yet another Enchantress gank. Now, as you said, yeah, YCB really falling behind. Now stuck level 5.
Yeah, I mean, they might be able to transition this into a push. Jing's still got the Dragon Form for a couple more seconds, but... I don't know if it'll end up working out, and I mean, KKK can just infest the creep, out he pops, that's gonna be it. So, meanwhile, on top, MX are pushing a little bit themselves. The Train Protector is going to slow that down. Fortification will pop for the Dire, but DK now without his Dragon form, so that's going to be a little bit slow for that one. And Darkseid's going to make his way around to put an end to that. YZP, is he going to be in trouble? No, looks like that's going to be it. So, right now, again, Enchantress level 5 could be quite farmed, but just isn't. And I feel like, again, I mean, Lifestealer has probably missed a couple of CS in between all of these ganks, but he's not really struggling too much. And if all of the attention is being paid to the Lifestealer, then Alchemist is just getting huge on top, and, I mean, he's already doing fantastically.
Yeah. Now, the good news for... I mean, Dragon Knight is farming, Weaver is farming, and Enchantress, for she's behind on levels, is not doing too badly for herself. If she wants to go something like, probably tier 2 boots first, but she could make the mechanism for the teach to get it at a reasonable pace. And their levels aren't really either, they're actually at parity or a little bit ahead, I think. No, a little bit behind, but not doing badly as far as levels go. The main deficit Windrunner relative to Darkseer. Darkseer has really had a pretty easy time here. Windrunner has had far from any time at the top, but Weaver's farming. He had this Ring of Health. I guess this is going to be Lincoln's here. What do you think about that in this game?
I mean, there's not that many single target abilities. If he does get locked down by, I mean, an Alchemist down by the Concoction, then he probably does end up dying. Obviously, there's the Nyx as well, you know, dealing a little bit there. Oh, wow. Look at Darkseer. He's just going to dive on 290. Is he going to get him? Oh, Centaur Stomp. Perfectly done. So that they will be able to bring him down. Yeah.
Actually, does Darkseer only have rank 2 of Shell? Okay, he has rank 4 of Shell. I thought that rank 4 actually does interrupt Healing Self, but I guess I was wrong, because Healing Self persisted through that entire time. He couldn't get another melee to actually remove it. If Healing Self had been removed, I think Treant dies there, but instead Darkseer takes a fall. FYMS dying for really no good reason in the end.
Yeah, just kind of giving his life away there. Wanted to get rid of the Treant. I mean, I've personally got a bit of a vendetta against the tree, so maybe he's got similar thoughts. But
Nick Sessino is the real vendetta.
This is true. We'll see if we get some revenge going in that direction. But anyway, the push is now going to start down on bot. No fortification up, so again, this is something that Whut can do pretty early on. The Keeper of the Light rotations are going to sort of put an end to this relatively quickly. We'll see. Wow, Darkseer going to get caught out one more time and just walking forward there, straight into a Dragon Tail, and those just end up getting bursted down.
Yeah, I mean, so, yeah. Next to watch for a great Chickle trapping the Darkseer. This is FYMS to buff. He was completely stunned down, and that'll actually get their push started in earnest. Without Darkseer here to do any sort of counter push with Ion Shell, I don't think there's much of anything that can stop Whut from at least taking the tier 1. And frankly, since they didn't have to use the Dragon Knight ultimate for that, I think they can go on to tier 2, and they think so too. We have the ultimate use. Illuminate coming through 365 already, trying to out Keeper of the Light a little. Dragon beginning his work, so Corrosive Breath shoot through this tower. They actually do have to rip a couple over as Ya has begun to pressure the top and KKK the mids. They do move 365 away, but not without doing a little bit of a dent to this tower, so I think that's the hope for Whut. If they can transition into some sort of push by using Dragon Knight and Enchantress, I think they can generate enough pressure that at least they'll stop the Alchemist's farm from progressing any further than it already is, as he is charging towards that Battle Fury, so this is a purely farm focused. The issue is going to be is that while their push is really good at face value, they don't have the sort of more nuanced bits and pieces that sort of fit into a pushing lineup, so they don't really have a pick-off hero. They're going to be working towards the Shadow Blade on the Dragon Knight to sort of help rectify that situation. Oh, Winner on top. Oh, they do land the Impale on Steel Auction to follow there. The Acid Spray should not have Wind Run. Use the charges, so that'll help a little bit. Shackle, unfortunately, does not latch, but she walks away with armor, and I think this is why part of the dead against Treant is displayed in that.
Yeah, just living armor. What more needs to be said, honestly? So Winner is going to get away there, but yeah, again, what the one problem is going to be just getting those pickoffs. They have to kill the Keeper of the Light to really enable the pushes. Yes. And so long as, I mean, Darkseer wasn't alive for that push down on bot. If Darkseer and Caudle are both doing their job, then it should be very difficult for them to approach it head on.
Question.
Yeah.
Okay, just harassing back again. Yeah, I don't think he can get the kill here, but he can do a very, very respectable amount of damage to Dragon and living armor just to return, but I don't think KKK is here in a way. In fact, chasing, but I don't see this really do anything other than taking the Lifestealer out of the picture temporarily.
Yeah, there's a draft.
On the top, actually, 365 with a tremendous amount of damage. That DD rune on Weaver can make a huge difference with Gemini. attack. They're unstable. Oh, actually, a stable action might deny. Yeah. Oh, it's only rank 2. He's okay. 71 HP. 5, maybe a little bit insufficient stick-to-itiveness there. If he had landed the Shukachi and then Geminated.
Yeah, bottom lane, Jing.
That might have been. Oh yeah, you're right. Dragon Knight getting fully dropped. Nice Illuminate from the Ancient Tree. But Hard once again, keeping Dragon Knight at least alive for now. Shackle Shot to help. KKK continues to try to chase. He still have 5 seconds to rope a move though. I don't think it can happen. Leech Seed and Lifesteal are warded off. Once again, living, doing work. Dragon Knight escaping from what was a very difficult situation. That'll be Shadow Blade, not laid.
Yeah, and again, the Shadow Blade's going to be a really important pickup to get pickoffs to be able to enable these pushes. I mean, they got the free tier 1 to start. I don't think MX are going to be falling for that a second time around. And they need to start getting these pushes going because they have to take down the tier 1 mid and the tier 1 top to be able to get access to that jungle where Alchemist is already starting to very, very scary. He's stacking up, he's got the battle fury, he's moving quickly, and if 4 heroes on the MX lineup keep 5 on Whut occupied, then we will see, the rise of the Alchemist, and he'll come out 6 slotted and just kind of end the game from that point. I mean, Weaver, not a very fast flash farmer by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah. So I think Whut needs to be making full use of the fact that they've got good physical damage at this early stage of the game, and they've got fantastic push as well. All they have to do is probably finish up that Shadow Blade on the DK, and then hopefully they can start getting something going. Yeah?
I think I absolutely agree. We do have KKK and Jing dueling yet again. He'll take one of the Enchantress Satyr Tormentors, the other one throws out his Chaos Ball ineffectually, and yeah, I think they really have to get their push in gear. I wouldn't mind seeing them commit to the push more heavily. Like after Shadow Blade on Dragon Knight, may just make the pipe, and then or can go something like Desolator to really enable a very, very heavy push. I guess after Lincoln, since he's already most of the way there. I wouldn't mind that Desolator. I think they could clear out towers pretty quickly, and the pipe to make sure they don't die to illuminate in progress.
Yeah, definitely. Anything that they can do to just put the pressure on the Alchemist, force him to come to the fights before he's too big. I mean, Alch really has 2 big milestones when he picks up that first survivability item, typically the AC, and then also once he gets level 16. I mean, that's a huge boost for him, and if you can force him to fight before that, it's actually pretty reasonable to be able to kill him off, especially when you've got minus armor from the Beetles on the Weaver as well, and some good right click from the Dragon Knight. So I just have to keep the pressure on, try and bring Alchemist out of his hidey hole, I think.
I agree. I think before he has BKB, they can do a lot of work to him. Even after, of course, they have enough D-armor, especially if they build a Cuirass of their own or a Desolator, have you. Take you down quite quickly. They have the Pure on the Enchantress, which is also a pretty good source damage. It's not to be underestimated, and if Alchemist doesn't rush BKB, that can do quite a bit to him as well. Jing hunting now. He's got Shadow Blade. They want to sort of start piercing this jungle. As you said, they want access to the jungle. They don't have those tier 1 down for it yet, but they are massing up to at least take the tier 1 top. And I think MX making the right call. Rather than trying for the 1 tower per se, they're just pushing 2 other towers at the same time. This is what they did to prevent their tier 2 bot from going down as well.
Yeah, I mean, even if Whut all in on this one, if they end up trading evenly, then I don't know if they're advancing too much. There is a fortification up, but I don't think that, they don't have mass TPs, so it looks like they're just going to let this one fall. But it's going to be a 2-for-1, I think. Living Armor going to try and save the tier 1 on mid. TP support going back. Nyx, he's just waiting. He's got a haste to the Vendetta, but he's actually walked past a Radiant Sentry. Not sure if he's been spotted. Yeah, looks like he might have been there, so.
I think so. Actually, KKK low, so 365 wants to go here, but Nyx still hasted some Vendetta. Weaver decides to go there. Meanwhile, Jing in ultimate form, they're starting to push him, but there's some concoction coming from the side. With, yes, a Shadow Blade, there's the stun. Meanwhile, Illuminate comes through. YCB in a lot of trouble, but getting healed up very heavily by both Leech Seed and the Enchantress Seal. He survived through pick off the Nyx already. There's the Darkseer wall, generating an illusion of the Dragon. 290 now running away. He's unstable concoct. He'll die very, very quickly. 1-for-1 so far. It does look like dead. What look to disengage? Weaver just getting another free kill on that Keeper of the Light, and Jing actually turns right around. Shadow Blades trying to chase and KKK if they can. They need to land the Dragon Tail though. There it is. There's the Enchantress shooting through, and the Dragon Breath finished that. And Whut actually taking by far the better of that confrontation. In the end, they trade 3-for-1, including the Life Stealer. They don't get the pressure, but they do get the tier 1, and 365, he's actually done something really neat, and I agree with this completely. I didn't think he could. Oh, TTT re-entering. Stun at YCB, a nice shot to respond, and YCB actually running away from this, no problem. 8737. Now returning the pressure on TTT. There's a big impetus, and Jing coming around. Another Dragon Breath. What is out positioning? Next to this ongoing, this weird multi-level fight, but what nonetheless getting faster the better of them. I wanted to quickly say I love Medallion Weaver. I think it's a really, really cheap alternative to building something like Dezo. It really generates just a lot of pressure, and they can Roche with it.
Yeah, and the threat of having that Roshan is also great. I mean, again, the same deal. Once they establish control over these tier 1s top and mid, they really open the map up for themselves. They can start making deeper excursions into the dire jungle, trying to find the Alk, and again, he picks up a damage item. I don't disagree with the Shadow Blade at all, but it's gonna get the jump on the DK.
Darkseer in a bit of a forced to disengage. KKK jumps into the fray. Nice impale on 3. Actually, Whut stunned down for a very long time there. Winter just finishing off the tower. Shackle on KKK. Lifestealer in trouble once again. He'll go down. 8-2 now, the scoreline. Darkseer, of course, is very, very low. Forced to completely disengage. He does avoid dying, which is good. They are only 150 away from that mechanism for him. And it looks like Alchemist will make it out of here okay as well. He's actually going to just TP out. No real danger from him getting stunned. They dust him up, but it's long gone by that point.
Yeah, and I mean, good call. There was a bit of a pincer coming in to try and find him, so nicely done. 290 goes up, gets a deep aggressive ward going in the jungle. So again, just trying to keep tabs on the Alchemist, prevent him from getting that next big item up. Again, he is progressing towards what I call that next big step. You know, getting the AC and having up that level 16 as well. So Whut, I feel like the clock is ticking, but they're making the right moves. They're making inroads into the dire side of the map. MX are pushing around. They do have the really annoying Keeper of the Light as well, just to be able to turn the Alchemist into a bit of a split pusher. So he can be off in the lane non-stop and only really brought back when he's needed, and that's a really nice thing to have against the not very nuanced push of the Whut lineup. Yeah. So yeah, we'll end up seeing if that's going to be a big problem, especially as we start moving towards tier 2 pushes as opposed to tier 1s. That's going to give Alchemist a lot more time just to be able to pressure a lane, and then I'm about YZB in some trouble.
Oh yeah, YZB, absolute chance, dies as soon as he lifts. Yeah, just popping out the long duration, impale the follow, and the Vendetta hit for that matter. 3-6 fighting one, they shackle up on Ya. Could they get the first one? And there's the Medallion. He will ult and just run away, and the cavalry coming in, dissuading Whut from actually pursuing that any further. So Ya gets away. He gets an assist, his third of the game, and honestly, 655 GPM already on the Alchemist. This is starting to put Whut in a position of, I'm not going to say desperation, but definitely they feel the urgency of their position. And now the mechanism is here. The push is only going to get harder and harder, especially once that Cuirass comes up. I think Alchemist can even afford it now.
Yeah, so I think, and at this point, because we are talking about tier 2s being pushed down, smoke ganks become so important for the Whut side. They have to, I think at this point they have to get a pick off to be able to go for the push. So long as the Darkseer and the Keeper of the Light have good positioning, then it gets really, really difficult. And again, even that recall is going to make life even tougher. So, I mean, Alchemist or the Lifestealer could just be off doing whatever, and if Whut don't leave, I mean, what this tier 1 on mid is super important because it's really the launching platform for any of their pushes. And looks like Lifestealer may be in some trouble, but there's an aggressive nearby.
He's actually okay. He'll walk away, and surely they couldn't chain up any stunts. 8737 was there for the shackle. I think he gets that fight. It's one story, but unfortunately, because he rushed up that mechanism, he's just got 1 boots and no 4 staff, so he's not really able to get to fights quickly to land those critical shackles. So Lifestealer walks away. What? I mean, you mentioned they have to find the big offs. Not quite finding them at this point, and Dragon going for more of a personal, I want to live through Illuminating Darkseer rather than a team. He's making up that BKB. He's quite close to it. In fact, it might be being delivered to him. No, it's not. YZB actually build up Aghanims, he's about halfway there. But Ya, I mean, he's still really the main thing that's annoying Whut. So far, Weaver really not able to solo at this point. He can do some damage, but not nearly enough to get him to leave, enough to actually put danger in. Meanwhile, a fight developing in the middle. The Darkseer wall is up, vacuum in, nice shackle. Kick a K and join the tip, and actually KKK, even though he's being surged down, dropped very quickly. That's another kill for What? But it's not the kill they need to push. Actually, Dust to try to cut their escape just in case Alchemist is on the way, but can they use this to push him? I'm not sure.
I mean, they could use... No, it looks like they are going to try and use it to push. They could also use it to maybe cheeky and go into the Roshan pit. I mean, Yao is going to be doing the exact same thing. Top of this. Can they get this done? No, they get this done out on mid.
Ooh, nice shackle, actually. T in a lot of trouble. 365 actually gets unstable concoction. This might be a Weaver Bari done. The time lapse. That's a big loss. Even with the Nyx Assassin pickup, you immediately see what fleeing as a result of that. That was a big kill on Weaver. There's the Dragon Tail, the re-engage coming. Leech Seed as well. One more impetus will do the trick. They don't need it. And a fantastic trade-off just when the Weaver dies to actually be able to get the Alchemist for it. Is a great deal for Whut. Now up 11-4, and they get the Alchemist off back for about a minute. That's a minute that he will be farming. What do they do now? Just keep pushing?
I mean, and this is the problem, right? It takes so long to get into gear for a push, especially with the Darkseer and the Keeper of the Light. And being on the Radiant side, it's extremely difficult to go into the pit. So even if they get the big pick off on someone like Alchemist, they, you want to establish a substantial, you want to establish something substantial off of those pickoffs. You want to get something out of it, but there's just not really anything easy to take anymore.
No.
So at this point, it's just having to just keep hacking your way through the MX lineup,
right?
And hopefully you end up near a tower and you can get rid of it. But even if the trades are even, again, even if the Darkseer or the Keeper of the Light survives, they hold off the push for maybe 30 seconds. At this point, that's enough time for people to be able to respawn. And so I'm not quite sure how this ends up going. And the Terrain Protector and Enchantress are only getting weaker as time goes on. I mean, Enchantress can transition into a bit of a semi-carry build, and she's doing that right now. Going to be going for the Aghanim Scepter, but again, there is kind of a limited time to live on these two heroes. So
I think
again they're going to keep the pressure on. We'll have to see.
I think if Weaver lives in that last fight through Roshan, maybe they can still do that if they find a but Yaz honestly growing to pretty terrifying proportions. Just picking up a triple ancient stack right there, that's an enormous amount of gold flowing in. His cost is now up to about 2.5k, so halfway to his next big item, or more if he, depending on what he actually wants to build. What start? No, it's just a TP scroll. They do find a Dragon Tail Stone on Darkseer build. Surge his way on out of there, and still, yeah, I mean, what sort of fishing for the pickoffs, trying to get a kill here or there, parlay that into something. I feel that they can use this medallion to shot. They can just clear out enough of MX to actually make a go for it, but it hasn't happened just yet. And any time that it's not happening is time that Ya is getting bigger and bigger, now up to about 17k net worth.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not even... The thing is, often we see an Alchemist lineup, and Alchemist is the threat, but there's also the Lifestealer who's difficult enough to bring down. And if you just leave him running around in the fight, he is going to, probably kill off the Terrain Protector, probably kill off one other hero somewhere as well. So it gets a little bit difficult, and again, what are kind of low on lockdown overall. As well, so they have to be very, very careful on who they choose to stun. And I mean, even if a shackle shot misses, the shackle shot has been fantastic for them so far. But if they don't have it in these fights, then the Alchemist and Lifestealer are just going to keep running straight over them.
Can they catch Alchemist? They don't have protection. They dust. The long range shield very this fight really getting scrappy. There's the Dragon Tail. They don't know if they want to engage Overgrowth, just on Lifestealer. Unstable Concoction will take 290 down. They kill him extremely quickly, and already What's seeking to sleep. They thought that they had not opportunity on Alchemist. They did 8737 on the ground as well. 2 kills for MX. They thought they got the Alchemist. They didn't catch him, and X managed to capitalize on it so far. Jing maybe seeking to re-engage, trap Ya on the wrong side of the tier 1 tower. He'll throw out another Dragon Tail. What can they do to follow up on this? Really nothing, and Ya just going to work. This tier 1 tower taking a tremendous amount of damage already. Still 2 on the ground for Whut. 365 trying to do a little bit of dissuading work. Just the tower destroyed by Alchemist. Open wounds up on YZB. KKK will immediately just eat a creep with this infest ability, heal him back all the way back up to full, and Ya just runs away with the Shaft Blade. In the end, Whut? Not the opportunity they needed.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised that MX didn't just re-engage there. There was 3 heroes up, the tower is a little bit further back, and I mean they had full life on everyone, and most, the majority of them still had their abilities, so they're just playing it really cautiously right now. But again, I feel like they've got the inevitability in this matchup, so no real reason to be, no real reason to take any big risks, to do anything that might end up losing them the game. And I mean, what? It's all on them. They can't outfarm, they can't outstrip the Alchemist there. They just have to find the pickoff, and they have to start getting these towers down. But there's still, a couple of layers of defense left for MX, and if they win a fight, they can take Roshan. That's not too far out of their bounds either.
No, I think honestly, they can get it easily, especially the DD rune from the Alchemist.
Wow.
They go to work on it, you can see how quickly this drops. Alchemist is just chunking through this poor hapless beast over here. Within a few seconds, and the rush just drops. Free just easily. Weaver the Swarm barely even them leaving the pit.
Yeah, and I mean, Weaver, that first damage item is still ages away. I mean, he's got the Lincoln Sphere. He definitely needed it. I think the medallion is nice for damage in the early game where he's really, shredding supports. But at this point, Alchemist is sitting at what, probably 3k, KKK. He's got 2.6k gold, only 1.4k HP at the moment, but if he wants it, he can start working towards an S and Y, get some cheap HP there. And what I think the problem just very quickly becomes, how do we kill anybody? How do we focus someone down? They do not have the Aghanim Scepter up on YZB. He doesn't have level 16 just yet, so still some more potential damage coming up there. But maybe the Enchantress is going to be the saving grace here, bringing the physical damage that they are kind of lacking.
My only concern with the Enchantress is she will have pretty great damage, but a lot of it will be taken out when the Alchemist just uses BKB or the lifestealer uses Rage. The two people they need to kill most are those two pairs, and both of them will be impetus for long durations to the pure damage of the impetus, which is really what you want. They're going to give it a shot. They've got, of course, the 10-second charge on the BKB of Dragon SL, so maybe they can make something happen with this. He's going to Shadow Blade even within the smoke, so even though he gets desmoked, he will still be stealthed, and they may catch out MX here. They find the next assassin. There's the dragon. Quickly gets brought down. KKK caught out as well, so this is ready if they can finish off this lifestealer. He immediately TVs, he actually cancels it. Here comes Alchemist into the fray. Overgrowth comes out, but YZB in 365. They jump extremely quickly, and there's all that Enchantress damage gone. Vacuum. Well, there's the wall. Weaver on the ground. Was he able to time-lapse? And the BKB for the Dragon Knight now used exclusively. But here the Unstable Concoction taking down open wounds as well. Nice shackle, but only gets the Darkseer. And Jane now taking a lot more damage. There's the Infest from Lifestealer. Well, really adding insult to injury. That'll get them a gem. That'll get them 4 kills in exchange for an assassin. And MX have tipped the scales. They've taken a convincing advantage. They're minutes into this game.
Yeah, and they've still got the Aegis up on the Alch, and I mean, Tower's not really a huge obstacle, especially with the AC. So I think Alchemist he reached critical mass. He got level 16, he got the AC, the Battle Fury, the Shadow Blade, he's got the BKB on top, so just really gravy there. And with an opportunity to defend, but even if they win this one, even if they win this next team fight, they have to push their tier 2s, they have to push to the Coddle, they have to push to the Darkseer, and it looks like MX, they're just settling in here to try and grab a Rax. I don't know if What can get rid of them. They don't even have the Dragon Knight ultimate up right now.
Group D group stage games. This is last series of the group stage, the last series of Group D. We've got one team definitely going through from Group D, Rattlesnake. They will be heading to the LAN finals in Beijing. We don't know who the second team is. Could it be XM or Musi, as they're known here in this game? Or could Whut take it out in 2 straight games and actually be the team to head there? I'm not entirely sure, but either way, it's beyond the sub 3. I'm Vikramon, my co-caster Basic. How are you doing?
Yeah, doing great. Looking forward to some more Dota. And again, we are so close to the end, and the playoffs of this event are going to be absolutely amazing. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing who's going to go up against some very stiff competition,
yes.
Frankly, in those playoffs.
Either of these teams will find themselves faced with some absolutely forbidding games if they do end up going to the LAN finals. But even the trip is an experience. I mean, being able to go to Beijing and face some of the best teams in the world, definitely China and Orange. I love how Orange is of 38 teams in this tournament. There is one that is not Chinese. That's alright.
Yeah, they've got their connections, obviously, to
right.
be participating.
They certainly do. Alright, take us through the draft so far. Wow, Alchemist first pick actually for Whut. So give me a little elucidation on that. I actually got to run the 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. So, guys, on MX, we're going to have a ban on the Clockwork and the Visage, and then Batrider and Shadow Demon actually the bans for Whut. So we've got a support, a tri-lane support, a piece. A little bit interesting to see there. What else has made it through? Well, the Darkseer is going to be picked up here by MX, and it looks like Whut this time around, they're going to grab the Alchemist for themselves. Again, I feel like when you see the Alch, you do have to consider looking towards the aggressive tri-lane. You can, of course, say, okay, Alchemist might be mid. There's a distinct possibility of that. So not only do you have to lock down your tri-lane, you have to really be able to lock down your other lanes. They're off to a really good start as far as that's concerned. They've already got the Darkseer, so one of the strongest solos on a flat lane in the game. And then there's still a lot of great solo mids as well that could put pressure on Alch. So looks like Muxy maybe the beginnings. MX at the beginnings of an aggressive tri-lane with the winner. Alchemist, if he's forced into a defensive tri-lane situation, then he doesn't level all that quickly, and until he gets level 6, he's very squishy, kind of low armor. If Winner gets herself some early phase boots, then she can really just plink away at him and bring him low. So I think MX have to be thinking about that option, and we saw them run the Alchemist to great effect in the last game. We'll see if they can deal with him this time around.
Yeah, it's certainly that's been extremely popular because of its versatility in some respects, and its just ability to take over a game given any amount of free farm. It's kind of, I feel like we live in an age where, as often as not, you just give the other team the safe lane for a some period of time, even if it's about 10-15 minutes. Alchemist, a hero who can definitely seize the advantage there. The early Windrunner pick, though, is interesting from especially. Is this just maybe they saw what use it to great effect last game and they feel like can better use of it? They did, because the Shackles were one of the better aspects for Whut last game. I feel they got a lot of kills off on Lifestealer without.
Yeah, I think the winner was really nicely played in. Again, I feel like it's the beginnings of hopefully the beginnings of an aggressive tri-lane here to deal with the Alchemist. The thing that I didn't mention about the Alchemist, though, is that, I mean, even if you shut him down in the laning phase, your other lanes have to be strong enough to be self-sufficient, because if you sit on the Alchemist for 10 minutes and you say, guys, we did our job, Alchemist is out of the game, we stopped him farming, right, woohoo, let's go deal with the other lanes. It doesn't work that way. If you leave Alchemist alone for 10 minutes, be it the first 10 minutes, be it, from 10 to 20, be it from 20 to 30, he will eventually catch up. That's just the nature of the hero. So you really need to be putting down real pressure the whole time on the Alch, and so hopefully MX, they've already got one good solo in the Darkseer, and I'm looking forward to maybe something like a Queen of Pain, something like that. So even if Whut do decide to run the Alchemist on mid, there's always going to be somebody hunting him down, and they won't be forced to break up the tri-lane, so to speak. And Whut, wow, so they're just going to go for exactly what was ran against them last game. We'll see how this ends up working
just a
out.
Rubik in place of, I guess, the or the light. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. I mean, they probably felt that strong dual core position really favored MX last time, so they want to take a little bit of advantage of it for themselves. And meanwhile, MX banning out that protector, so we won't see that sort of, I guess, new bet noir for the Dota scene.
I hate Treant Protector almost as much as I hated Lycan back in the day. If you remember the days of Lycan.
Oh, I don't think it's that bad. No way. No way. Lycan was bad.
That's me personally. I don't expect anybody to agree with me, but that's how much disdain I have for that guy. So I'm kind of glad to see that he's banned, if not in the first round. So.
Right. I mean, the thing about Lycan, I guess, was because there were 3 first-round bans. He very infrequently. MX, it's interesting. They choose to pick up the Spectre. So, in one respect, this is them declaring their confidence. I feel that they can sort of toe-to-toe with the Alchemist, not really worry about his farm, and just out-carry him late. Or do you think this is sort of more sort of global ganking opposition, and the Spectre goes phase drops and gets kills with Hunt?
Honestly not sure. I mean, Spectre's not that great against Nakes. She can kind of, run away from him and endure him a little bit, but obviously Desolate doesn't do too much against a rage target, and yeah, I'm very surprised to see that they won't try and go for the early game out. One thing that I have been seeing is that a lot of recent games is that sort of both sides end up trying to fight for the inevitability. So one team will pick up one hard carry, and the enemy team says, okay, we see your single core, we're going to go duo core, and then the enemy team says, okay, we see your duo core, we're going to go tri-core, and then there's this escalating arms race of who feels the most confident for the late game, because the big deal for a lot of teams is that you don't get a lot of practice past 50 minutes, right? The majority of games end before that. The decision making maybe is not as good, so if you, as a drafter, looking forward into the game, saying, okay, do I feel confident if this game goes before 50 minutes? Do we have to make really aggressive plays to win it? Right. Some people hate being in that position, so I think that's kind of the cause of that arms race of carries, which is always a little bit weird to see in the draft.
Yeah, I guess all roads to Fnatic in the end, basically. Go those quad core lineups. Why not? What's certainly picking up quite a few farm-needing heroes themselves here, so they pick up the Nature's Prophet right off the Spectre. It does give them the possibility to sort of globally respond. So if Spectre decide to haunt to a particular location, Nature's Prophet can always be there. But it does give them 3 heroes that need farm. So they feel confident that they can get Lifestealer set up, Alchemist set up, and Nature's Prophet. Now, of course, Prophet can do quite a bit in the jungle. It does look like MX have a little bit of a more focused approach, where it's mostly Spectre taking the wind around. Really just needs. Actually, I don't know. It's tough to say. I guess Windrunner most likely a support here, or maybe mid.
Yeah, I'm honestly not 100% sure what the lane configuration is going to be. I mean, Spectre, you don't really expect her to see an aggressive try, so, and she doesn't really work that well as a 1v1 solo either, so I think we just have to be seeing a defensive tri lane from MX, and then the Darkseer farming up. I think, and again, it's sort of been shown recently that the Spectre isn't really an ultra late game hero. She does really well in the ultra late, but just with a couple of early pickups, she can be a very decisive force on the map.
For sure.
I'd like to see MX with just maybe one more mobile hero, be it a Quap, be it a Puck, somebody to set things up just so that the Spectre can get into ganks, get into those early kills. Because like you said, they've got 3 heroes that are going to need some farm. The Nature's Prophet is going to be nice if it does end up being tri-v-tri, because he solos pretty well and can TP up to bring it up to 4v3.
Right.
But yeah, we'll have to see.
I wouldn't mind seeing Skywrath, actually. Yeah, I feel like Ancient Seal could do a lot of work this game on Lifestealer and Alchemist are fairly vulnerable with that though. And the other reason I say that is they actually have a Darkseer Jakiro combo. I'm surprised what let that through. They did choose to ban the Oathtaker. That's a slot in which you could easily have banned Jakiro, and they chose to go for the ES instead. But now with Darkseer Jakiro, you can get stuns off extremely easily. You can always guarantee that the Ice Path is going to hit somebody, and we know Skywrath's pretty good with captive audiences. I guess Quap works in the same position, but it doesn't have a silence.
Yeah, but I definitely agree with the idea of just either picking up someone with the silence, or getting someone who can afford to rush an Orchid out. And what with the Sand King? So I'm really surprised. I feel like they can take the Sand King because MX grabbed the Spectre, and the Spectre isn't really an aggressive tri-lane hero. Right. But when you look at it, it's another melee support. There's definitely the potential to maybe punish it. And MS. Okay, so this is like they just said, okay, we're going to play your heroes, you play our heroes, let's see who
Yeah.
wins the other side of the matchup. Because that's exactly what it looks like right now. So maybe Pizai is going to give some Enchantress lessons.
Yeah, this is pretty funny.
We'll
I think it's...
have to see.
Yeah, I think it's like you said, both teams being like, we're going to teach you a lesson in how to play your heroes. And, of course, I feel like MX are working from a position slightly more confident since they did, in fact, win the first game. But both teams definitely picking up similar lineups to what they were running in game 1. So let's go into this game 2. Let's go ahead and introduce the teams. MX, they're up 1-0. They are 3-1 for game wins in the group, and I'm sure they would love to take us out 2-0 and send themselves on to the finals Beijing. The tri-line will be composed KKK on the Spectre, T×7 on the Jakiro, then Ike's Enchantress, piloted up by Pizai. Then that Ya going up into the middle on the Windrunner. We saw his Alchemist skills, his hard farming skills last game. This time we see his mid in action. And then that is FYMS on the Darkseer for the offlane.
Yeah, and over on the side of what we have 8737 on the Nature's Prophet. We've got 290 on the Sand King making his way down the middle lane right now just to do some warding. We've got Jing on the solo mid Alchemist, and heading up towards top we've got YZB on what appears to be well, just the top lane Lifestealer, and last but certainly not least 365 is going to be on the Rubik.
So they've definitely made a conscious choice here basically not to MX's laning approach. So they're putting the Alchemist mid, so generally regarded as a stronger mid, but nonetheless not able to level Greevil's Greed nearly as heavily, and YZB on the left at the top. What do you think this is a product of? Is this just personal familiarity or comfort, or is that they just feel that Lifestealer wouldn't have as easy a time this time as last time?
I'm honestly not sure, because I think we're going to be seeing the Enchantress ganks be a lot more effective on the Alch than they were previously on the Nakes. So, yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe we're just going to be seeing the more ganky style of Alchemist here instead. It could even be a support Alchemist. He could be working his way towards a mech, that Phase Boots mech build that we have been seeing from some people. So, yeah, I'm not 100%, though. It looks like they're just going to be relying on the Lifestealer as their hard carry, more or less. We'll see if he might even end up going something like a Midas. I mean, he's getting completely uncontested farm right now. But wow, this is a very early smoke. Are they really going to go for this here?
Wow, this is very bold. I mean, they don't have, of course, Jing does not have rage. Just look at this. It looks like Oz just bait. Wow, this is quite the bait. But actually, Stable Concoction can punish this very heavily. He does use Healing Cell. Here with Pizai, will they get the stun? Center cover coming through. One on its way from dying, but the power shot will take the first blood. So in the end, an extremely delicate bait, but it does pay off with first blood going to the Windrunner.
And that almost went very sour very quickly, but does manage to escape. So good job there. Is the bottle already coming out as well? It is. So he'll be fine to make his way back up. Oh, Jing, he wants the kill with the concoction right now. Is it going to be enough damage? Oh, he gets the spray down as well. It's going to tick out. Wow, what a play.
Well, right. Try back in response. This mid matchup is absolutely heating up between Ya and Jing here.
Oh, they're duking it out. That's nuts. Okay, so as we saw, the Alchemist is pretty susceptible to those Enchantress ganks, and I think already he's way more effective than than the previous game's Enchantress was. Just not getting anything done, and now off to a really good start. I mean, level 3, 2 minutes in. I'll hopefully be able to keep the pace there, and camping out the 2-minute run, so no double damage there. For Alchemist. I'm very surprised to see that Darkseer is fighting for farm in the jungle against the Enchantress. Hopefully he'll get out of there once he gets level 3 or 4, because Ench can make use of pretty much 4 camps once she gets enough levels. So I'm very surprised to see that that's the situation right now. Because are you going to be really cheeky and dominate one of these Treants after you kill the other one? I think that would be really cute. But no, okay, he's not going to do it.
That's unfortunate.
No.
Oh yeah, I guess he could do that, and then the camp would de-aggro, and he's at 37. He needs this Adler too. Nice that, but it's not quite enough to clear out the trees. So that'll be some much needed XP for it. Because of course, the flip side, of course, Darkseer, yes, is stealing farm away from the Enchantress. She from him, because every time she charms a creep, that's one less thing for Darkseer to have to kill. But it's gotten to level 3, whereas Nature's Prophet has struggled to hit 2. So maybe they feel good from that perspective. 290 and 365, meanwhile, want to turn the favor on Windrunner, actually get a gank off on He's only at about half health, but he's got this DD rune bottled up. And Whut being very patient with this gank. They're not going yet, but their smoke time's almost running out. So they're getting that pretty quickly. There's Jing. He throws out the stable concussion from long range. Now will be licked up at no since they try to get a burrow strikes here. Just needs a little bit more. Ascent Conqueror stunning. 290 takes a lot of damage. He probably doesn't make it out of this alive. Darkseer surge in. Only one kill. I think FYMS wants another on the Rubik, but he can't get it. 365 walks away. Trade of Sand King actually. Why is Nature's Prophet here? That's just a free kill given away to Epic. 8737 walks in only by and really contribute nothing.
Yeah, so end up losing 2 for 1, so I don't think really I mean, it was looking good. They got the winner, they only lost the Sand King, and then yeah, the Nature's Prophet kind of says, hey guys, what's going on? I want to participate on mid, and just ends up dying, so a little bit unfortunate for him. It seems like he's been doing a reasonable job, at least so far, of blocking out the pull camp. With the Treants, though, does now spawn up, so I'm gonna call him 70. I think that's pretty punny, but oh, 8737, he's in trouble on bot. Will they be able to right-click him to his death? Looks like they will be able to. KKK gonna close the gap and just doesn't care about the Sprout walking straight back out the other side, so that's gonna be it on bot.
Yeah, a pretty easy kill, and that's a kill for Spectre's counts now 1-0-1. That's actually very, very good, considering, at least at first, it seemed like Lifestealer was going to start out leveling a little bit, but Spec picking up that kill, or actually the assist and kills will be very, very nice. Oh my god, 365 now coming in, only probably to die again. Nice telekinesis actually, completely saves him out. 8737 TPing in, but unfortunately a little bit too far away to actually do something like a Sprout trick, pick off the Jakira.
Yeah, I'm very surprised to see what's going on in this bottom lane. I mean, they're not really interrupting the Spectre's farm that much by making their way down, and they're a really big liability, as we've seen. So, and I was also very surprised because 8737 didn't go for an off-lane build. He went for what I would call a jungle build, the Bastion and some Clarities.
Sure.
I mean, no regen whatsoever. Even if you're going to be in this off lane, you need a little bit of regen to be able to fight the support if they come and try and deal with you 1v1, because if that happens, you don't have any regen, then you just get driven off the lane. So it's a little bit strange to see that he's insisting so much on this lane, but not really getting... I mean, I feel like not really quite making the right moves. And right. If you die on the off lane, again, you have to compare that to if I was in the jungle, how much better would I be doing? That's, again, the opportunity cost, and I feel like it's not really paying off.
In a vacuum, the lane's certainly more lucrative, but if you die twice, then you've lost so much time compared to just slowly farming the jungle, where you're almost guaranteed not to die, barring, you know, massive idiocy. And Darkseer now feeling a little more confident, as we saw FYS already hang up to that top lane, harassing a bit with Ion Shell. He doesn't have the sustainability to just yet. He would need something like Soul Ring, but he'd spend a little bit of time there, got a little more XP, and for what are farming A, they're probably not tremendously unhappy with their life, but again, they're leading Spectre, KKK farm well, and Windrun's starting to win mid as well. Ooh, nice Shackle actually, trapping Jing up, but not enough mana to actually take too much advantage of it.
Yeah, and 365 is smoked again. He's gonna walk into the enemy smoke, and he's not very fast. I think he's now in trouble.
Attempts to juke the FF, but Impetus will just take care of him before he can manage to TP out, and that's another kill from Mech. Now up 5-2, and Jing tries to get this little concoction going, but actually just ends up stunning himself with it.
Yeah, so that was a bit unfortunate. I'm surprised that Rubik isn't just running stacks and pulls in the jungle, honestly. I mean, even if he just stacks up these, you know, this set of two camps over off to the side, the big camp and the small camp, that's a lot of farm for the Alchemist at the later stage of the game, and he can benefit from that experience as well. So I don't even know what he was doing, smoked. I think he was going to try and loop all the way around on the Windrunner, but that's not even really the right angle to be trying to gank from, and without the Sand King, it's not, you know, it's far from guaranteed, especially when you don't know where the Enchantress or the Darkseer really are. Oh, the Darkseer will reveal himself on top. So I think just, yeah, a little bit weird from him there. It looks like 8737, he's going to give up. They're going to give up the offlane. 365 is going to make his way down to try and soak up some experience on top. Oh, Darkseer, wow.
Yeah, very deep Earth. Ice Path is defending for a little bit, but Surge not quite enough. Very smart of as he beat you that infest to get the last hit there. That's an important kill for them. They gotta get Armlet on Lifestealer pretty fast, I feel. It seems like he's going for the drums first. Maybe the move speed is just important, but I would like to see Armlet pretty soon. Just for that solid mid-game effectiveness that they'll need against Spectre.
Yeah, and I mean, I've got a couple of things to say, I guess, about the build. Again, at the very start I said, okay, maybe you look towards a Midas, something like that. On the Nakes, oh, beautiful shackle on Nakes.
The Ice Path followed, the Tornado comes in, just infinite hits and pinging on Jing, and one will do the trick. Nice burst strike from 290, but he's still in a little 5 center, and so burst all it buys him is his death. KKK also, I think he haunted him to take advantage of that. Yes, he did. 2 more assists on his ledger, 1,400 gold now with the spec. You see her building that dome that are efficient at this point, since they're already up on kills.
I mean, yeah, I would feel that just, yeah, be as active as you can on the map. Start to apply some pressure. There's no real reason to sit back and farm, though it looks like, you know, our team's doing a good enough job anyway of sort of keeping everybody shut down. Though KKK, he uses the haunt, he actually realities in, so I think just, you know, trying to judge what kind of player he is from that, looks like he is, you know, going to try and be active around the map, and just to suit that style, I would expect to see, you know, some drums, maybe he gets the Yasha, relatively early Diffusal Blade, and yeah, it looks like he's going to pick up the robe here, so that could still either be, oh, it is going to be drum. Bracer gets dropped off as well.
Yeah, I agree with you now. It would really, actually, their Kirk's a good tank on Ya from every angle. There's good production tearing for a large amount of health, and that's a good kill for what? I would like to see them start some other time. Stack his juggle camps, get one rank of Grievals. It only has to be one. Nice first trick up top. Can't get the Dark Series. Got Surge, so actually F1 looks to walk away from here, no problem. The rank 2 Surge doing the trick. But yeah, as you said, the Rubik 365 was spending some of his time stacking these camps, even maybe this camp or this one over here, and then Acid Spray plus 1 rank of Grievals where he gets Alchemist. He's got a bit of a deficit of farm relative to the win right now, but that makes up immediately.
Yeah, for sure. This is gonna happen again. They played chicken about the Surge last time with the Burst Strike. Oh, let's see if he's gonna end up dropping. Maybe gets the vacuum back. Yeah, it's gonna be it. So the reason that he died last time is because Nakes walked up, got the wounds. He didn't want to surge because Sand King was just holding onto the burrow the whole time, and yeah, they end up kind of butting heads one more time, and he ends up getting the worst of it. So hopefully won't fall for that a third time. Coming up to the top lane, he's putting pressure on the Lifestealer, which is good. But again, it's the same deal as the Nature's Prophet on the offlane. If you die, then you're really not doing your you're not doing the hero justice. I think so.
Right. Yeah, and Dark Seer. That does almost take Sand King level 6, I think. It's really been unfortunate because I feel like 290's been playing well, just not really finding the XP at all. Here comes a fight in the bottom. YZB coming right in, using Rage, but not finding a kill there. Meanwhile, Ya just aggressively zoning on Jing, constantly just hitting him with a little bit of harassment, pushing the Ulks back, preventing him from leveling. Still no ranks in Grievous. So not really getting any extra farm equity out, just continuously using that Acid Spray mid, seeking to hold on. But hold on to what? Good question.
Yeah, I mean, holding on to the towers is definitely important right now. Oh, Shackle attempted, not gonna latch. But Enchantress already making some good moves, and as you can see, he's doing pretty well. He's got himself some treads, he's got himself an urn. Again, what I feel like they've sort of got the late game. It depends on what the Alchemist ends up doing in terms of his build. If he is going to be going for a sort of semi-carry build to help back up the Nakes, or if we end up seeing something like a Blink Dagger Alch, which is, you know, I guess more likely than you think, having been watching some Southeast Asian Dota for the last couple of weeks. But yeah,
have they been running a lot of Blink Hulk?
It works. It honestly works.
I know. I've seen it. It's great. It's rated.
8737 just escapes there. The Haunt even comes in. Well, KKK's escaping from again on the bottom lane. Wow. So.
Oh, he just brought ultimate Wrath of Nature. Unfortunately, it's only level 1. I think, yeah. Only level 1 Wrath of Nature, that's very unfortunate. The Treant's almost doing the mop up there, but Spectre lives. A big survival, actually. Yeah. I mean, well, just pulling it out with Jake. He does have this DD run, so he's picking off Alchemist pretty quickly, but Sand King, right? He's got this Pure 3 burrow. Here comes that center Ya in a world of trouble here. And yeah, that Epicenter going to take care of the rest. Rubik actually somehow managing the last hit there. A trade a tower for the Windrunner once again. Is that worth it?
I mean, I don't know. The jungle is a huge resource for Whut, and if they start to get ganked, if the Radiant side do the right thing and start getting some aggressive wards going, into the jungle and getting pickoffs because of it, then I mean the kill on the Windrunner is nice, but the tower is a much more permanent sort of effect over the game. And yeah, I mean Whut do have quite a bit of farm catch up to do. If you look at you kind of have a look at the net worth. Enchantress is doing a really good job. Jing doing pretty well. YZB's leading the board, but Spectre not too far behind, and again they're already starting to make some very aggressive moves. The Darkseer's deaths have slowed him down a bit, so that's well, it's not going to be a fast mech on him. Ya is actually going to take up the slack there, so they will still have that early mech and getting that really early team fight going. Again, the Alchemist doesn't, if he's going to go for the carry build, he doesn't really want to fight too early on, and they've kind of forced the Lifestealer's hand here again. So now he's moving towards a mid-game fight build as opposed to going for anything else. And yeah, the push is already starting. We'll see if Whut can weather the storm to get to that late game.
Yeah, I think the Megazone will definitely help for that. Here comes the Rubik haunt comes through. He actually, I completely missed that. Oh, I see. He haunted down while YZB was actually dueling KKKI. That's my fault. I'm totally remiss for that kill. Even as MX try to pressure the mid, very neat use of the stolen haunt reality as well as YZB's damage. Just with he actually had haunt top, but the telekinesis came at an unexpected time and he wasn't able to escape. Another trade. This time Spectre for tier 1. Actually 3 TPs in. Ya is very deep. There's the bomb of the unstable concoction onto 3. That'll be another dead Windrunner. Here comes the haunt from Spectre this time. He won't TP to it though, as Windrunner is already on the ground, and that'll be deny as well. Whut pulling it together pretty well.
Yeah, really great mass TPs, good team coordination overall, and I mean right after the pickoff as well. So MX, I think, get caught out a bit. They were the call must have been, okay, Spectre has haunt, let's 4-man push mid. If they defend, we haunt in. You know, we can try and win the fight, we can get the tower push going, but the Spectre dies, they kind of keep going with the intention that was originally there, and they really do end up getting punished for it, so not really adjusting quickly enough there. And yeah, Whut now with a little bit of space, and actually moving the experience for the first time in the entire game over onto their side. So Gold also taking a bit of a nosedive, and yeah, things shaping up pretty well. Alchemist is working his way towards a mech, so it is going to be that phase mech Alchemist here, which means that he's not going to have a super sort of carry-ish build. That looks like 8737 is sort of taking up the right clip. Buying himself a Shadow Blade now. Interesting to see that he doesn't go for the Midas. I'm very interested to see that, because again, I feel like if you get the Midas and you don't get punished for it, then you kind of if you get the Midas and you don't get punished for it, then you've got even more of that, you know, that assurance for the late game. So we'll see how much 8737 gets out of this Shadow Blade. I mean, if you buy the Midas with the gold that you had for the Shadow Blade while he was farming up, then it even accelerates your subsequent Shadow Blade anyway. Sure. So I'm not 100% on this pickoff. Though we might, well, this pickup, but we might see the Alchemist and the Nature's Prophet doing some cute roaming here.
There's the Rubik yet again. Will they actually catch FYMS? They need to get the Sprout. There it is. There's the telekinesis, but Alchemist already ran out of time for us. Can they actually get this pick up? No, they don't. That's definitely not what they wanted. Darkseer FYMS. Walk away, scot-free, really. Just not quite the coordination that I think Whut wanted for that gank.
Yeah, and they were kind of stuck in an awkward situation because Rubik had to lift Darkseer immediately, otherwise he was just going to vacuum his way through the trees and continue running. So he had to use the left lift end, and yeah, Alchemist just a little bit too far behind to be able to close the gap. And yeah, that's exactly where the Blink Dagger comes in. But Pizai on top, he's in trouble. Rage, will it be enough to bring him down through the skirts? No, the mech's gonna pop. The Ice Path comes in. YZB, Shackle will last. So that's going to be the end of the Lifestealer on this top lane.
Very neat counter gank effort from MX there. Hey, they needed that, in my opinion. The Lifestealer was starting to get quite scary. They were starting to lose a little bit of control of farm on the map, so it's good to be able to find that pick off where they can. Jing and FYMS just trading at this point. Either of them to actually kill the other. Maybe the addition of 8737. Here comes the Sprout. At a moment, they're actually still playing chicken, and Darkseer dies once again. Nice cut. Ya now here. Maybe he wants to get on this. Out of the gun. The Ice Path. The Ice Path does hit Jing even as he tries to move to dodge it. And that's it. Alchemist. Not a win trade in the end. Seer for Alkin. KK still farming up top, but actually 8737 is coming here. He goes right to the epicenter. There's the Burrow strike, and they will find the kill on the Spectre. All over the map at this point, and both teams losing their hard farmers. It's hard to see who's actually coming on top. And this is just everybody dying.
Yeah, it's just, honestly, it's a little bit of, a bit scrappy. I mean, the Spectre pushing all the way up into the middle of no man's land. Yes, the tier 1 mid and the tier 1 top are both still up, but, you know, that's 30 seconds before anybody can get anywhere near you, and you're pushing right up to the tier 2. You've probably cleared 1 or 2 waves, know exactly where you are, and yeah, they just converge and get the pick off. So I think the Spectre just a little bit caught out. And just looks like KKK, you know, overall a very, very aggressive player, you know, jumping into these haunts whenever he can, and picking up some aggressive farm on that top lane, does end up being punished for it. So, you know, he is the late game hope of his team, aside from maybe some damage from the Enchantress. She's doing pretty well, but I think just needs to be playing it a little bit more safely. Again, safe farm, let the team do the pushing, and then participate whenever you need to.
I think
with
so.
The haunt. There's no reason to be caught out, you know, really ever on the Spectre unless a smoke gank comes in or something along those lines.
Every time the Spectre spends the better part of a minute dead, it's time that Whut can use, because they didn't this aggressive sort of farming. Like, they could have gone 2 Midases, like as you mentioned. Lifestealer could have gone Midas, H Prophet could have gone Midas, and neither of them actually did that. So you're giving them time to make up farm they didn't get with those early Midases. But here's the way that they are going to put some pressure. We got a fortification late on the dire side, actually completely missing that. Let them get the deny on mid. It's a very interesting aspect there. They're not so top. That will be a top tower down, so 2 tower down so far. But Max seeking to push for this tier 2 now mechanism just to stay here for the TPs. Maybe What's can try to do something here. Nice side battle. Cover their escape, and so there's the turns. What's still trying to piece, and they find out Pizai, YZB dueling him there. I think he's going down. Jake 290 way ahead of his team. A big right into the wall. They're still up. The mechanism by Alchemist this time. And now the fight's getting very chaotic. KKK warping in just to make sure to kill the Sand King. 1 for 1 so far. And what? They're getting shut down. Nice path on top of the Shackle. 365 and YZB complete. Jing charging. Almost a target stable concussion there on Ya, but they're pretty far away. This fight is getting very spread out. TP in from 8737. There's the open wound. There's y'all lifted up. That'll be another kill for Whut at long last. Finally getting a 2 for 1 out of the fight. And they may seek to parlay this into a push, as you do see MX walking away from this fight. Maybe not with as many kills as they felt that they deserved from it, especially after some of the stun gains. But they did get a kill for Spectre. Spectre the fight alive as well, and that's actually 3k loose gold. Is Radiance? If so, is that a good? Yeah.
I definitely don't mind with some backup as well. They've already finished up the mech. We'll see. I want to say really nicely played there by 8737 in that last fight. He got everybody. Yeah, he really prevented the retreat, and that was the cause. He set up all of those kills, and then he came in and did it a second time, sort of in the corner at the bottom of the map. So really nicely done. He was the enabler of pretty much all of this here. The Radiance, I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, there's definitely the potential for KKK just to keep doing the kind of split push style. Again, I mean, they're doing reasonably. They are going to have to. Oh, we'll see if they end up actually muscling anything down. They're just going to head into the Roshan pit right now, and I think just finding a huge opening here.
I really like just how
the game flipped on its head.
How much they've taken. Like, okay, you got a 1 kill advantage, 2 for 1, and they're just, yes, we will use that dramatic 2 for 1 kill advantage to immediately get a tier 2 and a Roshan, and it does look like it'll be uncontested. Maybe MX can try to mop back afterwards. They kill the Rosh. It looks like the Aegis goes to lifesteal. They're gonna walk out unfettered. What a nice pickup for Whut. They got so much out of that trade.
Yeah, I mean, tower, kills, Roshan, everything going their way in the last couple of minutes, and MX maybe kind of left scratching their heads a little bit.
KKK, will they TP the Nitrous Prophet 2 here? They need to, in my opinion. Jing gets distracted by the courier. He does, but I think this is KKK needs to get away from the fight. Meanwhile, at bottom, they end up going for Ya instead. They're going to pick him up from 4 TPs. No such luck. Little bit schizophrenic from Whut here, I feel. They could have maybe killed the Spectre. They could have maybe killed the Windrunner, but instead they get nothing except courier.
I don't know. The courier is like a tiny tower. I don't know if I disagree with with Jing. I mean, the relic was already up on the spec, so you don't really.
That's true.
You don't really get rid of too much of her gold if you kill her off. So I don't know. I don't mind the choice to go lumbering after the courier there. But
Fair enough.
MX, they keep the Spectre up. But right now, I have to say, Whut doing a really good job. They've got some deep wards going into the Radiant jungle as well.
They do.
So they're in the driving seat for this game now, and we'll see if MX can get the team fight that they need to be able to sort of flip it back over in the opposite direction. Though they are going to be waiting at least for now, and at least for that Radiance on the spec.
Here we go again. There's Unstable Concoction getting thrown on KKK. Aspirator is doing a decent amount of damage this time. 18% is here, but KKK immediately Spectral Dagger in the same area. There's the Haunt coming out as well, so maybe seek to turn this around. Reality coming in as well, but Jing and 8737 already Shadow Blading out, and they don't really have detention, do they? They're still trying to chase. They've got vacuum. Meanwhile, the vacuum response for Rubik to a Sprout, very nice, and get the power just to clear them out. And now MX are chasing, but they're chasing into a fight. And the question is, who wants this fight more? Right now, it seems like open wounds left side. There's the Curtsier wall. If you turn left, Illusion, Unstable Concoction to land. Nice ice cut to cut off Jing. He's taking a lot of damage already, and KKK into the fray. There's the dust as well, and Jing's healing a little bit, but already taking tremendous amount of damage to Spectre. One more Desolate, and this ultimate is dead. He's still dusted up. Yes, he's on the ground. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is doing work. 290 Burrow struck in with an Epicenter to get 2 more kills. And where is Spectre now? Walking away from the fight as fast as carrier. Getting pretty close to Radiance, and so really wants to preserve that if possible. Honestly, they lose the ultimates, but it's not a hard carry Hulk just now moving into semi-carry mode by picking up that Shadow Blade, and I think they'll have to take 3 kills in exchange for that, even if the Spectre's still alive.
Yeah, definitely, and they've still got the Aegis up as well for a couple of minutes, so they can still say, okay, we've got the Aegis, you guys don't really want to fight us, we're going to go take these 2 towers off you for free. Thank you very much. So it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do right now. And again, still 3 minutes, they've got all the time in the world. They know that the Darkseer wall is on cooldown as well. The Haunt used in the last fight, the Radiant's still not quite finished by the Spectre. So yeah, a really big opportunity one more time, and Whut are going to capitalize on it. Again, so they're making, I think, the majority of the right calls. A very small misplay that I want to point out at that gank on top that might have set up the kill. Jing actually used the Shadowblade backstab on the range creep, and then went after the Spectre. So I don't quite know why that exactly was. I mean, Spectre only managed to make it into the trees in about 100 HP, so maybe that's the deciding factor. Looks like she might have been able to escape anyway, but yeah, a little bit strange from Jing there.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And how close is Kizai to Agonist anyway? Because I think this do some work. There's no BKB or even the plans for KO just yet, but no, it's just not close yet. They do have Radiance for Spectre, so that's complete. It's a lot of teamfight damage, especially with heroes like Rubik, who still only has 1 rank of that of Null Field, and of course Sand King, tanky-ish with but not much more than that. It comes a fight, maybe. The Haunt, of course, comes up from the Spectre, already chewing through HP with the Radiance. There's going to stay with Concoction onto Yop. Nice Vac Ospath wall combo. That before YCB already retreating out of this fight. Burrow Strike, but no, it's center 290, just using this defensively. Taking a little reality of his own, but he's running out of health. A shackle shot from Ya, another Ice Path, but the fight continues. It's right now. It looks like Whut not able to what they had in the last game. Tiger coming out, a little bit of armlet talking from YCB. He's going to try to lifesteal, but he doesn't quite get it. Sinking on the ground, continuing to chase Vacuum. Nature's Confident Alchemist already disengaged, and YCB just trying to his way on out. Actually, she's just mine. KKK will get force stacked. YCB walking right through the eyes, then but KKK is still up, and they're going. It was a tremendous amount for this extra bit of greed. No kill on Spectre. They lose the Lifestealer and the Ulk for it. Whut getting a little bit too greedy, and that is a big turnaround for MX. Really using that Radiance for all it's worth. The Spectre living through the entire fight and just chewing through a tremendous amount of HP with it in the end. Yeah,
I mean, KKK just escapes there. They get 2 pickoffs, and again, that's 100% the product of greed. They thought they could kill off the Spectre, and even if they kill the Spectre, I don't think they make it out of their lives. So Lifestealer makes a snap decision, and I don't know if it really works out. And that was such a strange teamfight. Lifestealer ended up spending the entire time just sort of running around in circles, not getting full use out of the Aegis. By the time the Aegis popped, the majority of the important heroes for his side were already dead. I mean, Rubik jumped straight into the middle of everybody there with the reality and just got bursted down. So, yeah. MX now looking pretty good for them. They hold on to that tier 2 on mid as well. And Spectre's only going to get scarier from this point forward. Another 2k gold up, so be it the Diffusal Blade next, be it the... I think I prefer the Manta style, perhaps, next. Just some extra survivability, and being able to get out of the open wounds is great, so...
I think the Manta style would be a great option. Actually, I mean, a Whut Manta will dodge stable concoction too, won't it?
Yeah, should do. You can dodge pretty much anything. With that fraction of a second of invulnerability.
Yep. So that could be a big deal for KK, especially in these ganky situations, but we'll see what he actually builds up next. Nature's Prophet also, I think, at his Scythe of Ice pick, so yeah, he can map that Scythe of Ice right now if he wants it, or at least this Ancient Camp. I guess trying a Lifestealer, so maybe they go for a gank instead, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, once they've got the Hex, if they see anybody, they can pretty much kill them, even the Spectre at this point.
Yeah.
Probably not tanky enough, so KKK does need to be careful again. He does have all of his team's late game hopes kind of resting on his shoulders, so hopefully, yeah, you could just see that they're all just sort of hovering around, playing Protect the Spectre right now. It does slow them down a little bit in terms of farm, just because, yeah, they're just trying to spoon feed the Spectre as much as they can and playing it safe. Meanwhile, Whut going for the slightly more risky plays. They're going to split farm, they're going to take advantage of their jungle, they're going to take advantage of their ancients, and should continue, well, this will begin to turn the golden experience back in their favor, though that team fight not going great. Oh, this...
trouble! Here comes the reality. Nice shack shot. Wise B and 8737 stuck in place. Nice back to follow. Doesn't link up with the ice path, but already 2 on the ground. Nice product from 290. He will the epicenter before he manages to die, so that's a little bit more damage getting thrown up, but the macro on the ground, already 3 down. What the initiation there was just too strong for MX, and maybe Whut shouldn't even decided to try to fight it because they will lose quite possibly all 5. Jing gets spotted, charging up his unstable, but he would need the perfect one for this to possibly work. Using mechas to try to put them back, right back in the ice path. Power shot and 1 more hit for with the Desolate bonus, and that'll be 5 for 1 for Whut. And it looks so good for them. They look to try to be taken to a game 3, but 2 very bad engagements in a row, and now they find themselves way on back foot.
Yeah, and this might even end up forcing buybacks here. MX charging up the middle lane. There are buybacks available for both the Lifestealer and the Alchemist, so we'll see if they can hold out. Is Fortification up? It's not. This could get really, really dangerous. 365 needs to be careful. They can't afford to lose anybody, and if they're not going to use buybacks, they're no, looks like they will be okay here. They just Prophet being enough of a nuisance on top. Nicely done by 8737. They needs to get away with his life for this to be worth it, and it looks like he will be fine. But no, really nicely done for him to go and split push and prevent the buybacks from being forced. So, good, annoying Nature's Prophet play. Sort of, Nature's Prophet at its best.
Right. They absolutely needed to avoid buying back, I think. It would be a lot of gold. They badly need to try to sort of... they need to be farming all 3 of these heroes. The Spectre is starting to get very scary. Only hope is to have 3 people that are vaguely as scary as the Spectre and seek to overwhelm it that way, and that requires not buybacks. So, Sanjin Yasha being built towards for Lifestealer, I mean, I guess it could be Manta too, but I still just SNY. And Alchemist needs his BKB, probably, needs to not be shut down by those. The Vac Ice Path Jackal is causing them no end of trouble. And that honestly goes to the draft. I feel like Earthshaker would have been less of a big deal than this Jakiro is.
I feel the same way. I mean, if you think back to the draft, it was largely... I guess the only context that they had was the Windrunner pick and the... it was the Darkseer and the Windrunner, yeah. So it could have been that long-range tri-lane, so the Windrunner, the Earthshaker, and the... Well, +1, you know, any long-range spammer that you want. So, I don't know, I didn't mind the ban all the way back then, but yeah, the Jakiro combo with the Darkseer is crazy. It's such easy setup.
It is. So. Blade Dagger complete for Sand King. Do you think this changes anything?
I mean, he's been getting the epicenters off anyway, so... And unless he somehow manages to burst down, say, the Darkseer before the fight or something like that, one of those... I mean, even the Jakiro's been doing work in the fight, so maybe that blink gets him on top of somebody else. Oh, the smoke! Are they gonna catch it one more time? And the throw bomb waiting inside.
They can't fight this, and they shouldn't try. 8737 already on the in reality, in 290, you can see he has no interest in crossplay. These 365 get burned to death by the Radiance. It's just causing sort of no end of trouble. KK now chasing 290 to the high ground. They go respond with an epicenter. They get the Spectre, so they get something. 1 for 3, an immediate buyback from the Spectre, instantaneous buyback, and I think they're going to seek to just push on top of this, or at least take Rashawn or something. Mantis style, getting pretty close for KKK, and this buyback will secure push at the very least. Once again, almost the same exact position. True Prophet and Lifestealer getting caught near the secret shop.
Yeah, it's deja vu for sure, and this time around MX can actually claim something substantial. The Nature's Prophet dead, so not going to be able to do what he did last time and prevent anything from happening just by still pushing a lane. And all the lanes are in a great position as well. They're going to get the Aegis, and this game just turned on its head by three completely unequal team fights back to back. What just really caught out, and MX making the better team decisions, What not really prepared for the smokes, and yeah, it's the exact same thing twice over. Just the smoke gank finds two heroes, they get the pickoff. Really nicely played, I have to say, by the with the Sand King to turn around on the hill. But yeah, we'll see. This is starting to get scary. The Aegis Spectre, and the thing is, even if you stun the Spectre for the entire duration of both of her lives, then she's still pumping out damage in every single direction.
That's so true.
You leave her alive, then that's an awful, that's awful. And even if you lock her down, then the rest of her team is going to vacuum you into an ice path, and the Dispersion and the Radiance are going to do exactly what they did anyway. So, yeah, it's a very tough situation for Whut here.
It's the brutal dilemma of being against a farmed Spectre, and it's something that we're beginning to face up against. I mean, I'd say the first fight, really, they could have escaped with a normal trade if they hadn't sort of decided to re-engage and try to get the Spectre kill, and that was very, very painful. The next two fights, though, I would say MX really just taking advantage of positioning, using these words that they know have the advantage of to just really get great positioning on successful smoke ganks and punish What's positioning, but also the fact that we need to farm these three. It's like they know that What need to sort of farm three people in three different places, so they can try to pick up that positioning, and it's been very, very successful for them. I think really key to MX making a comeback in this game, and in fact seizing what I feel is a fairly convincing advantage at this stage.
Yeah, at this point they've really... I think they've got a bit of a stranglehold, and this time around they're going to be back in the driver's seat. And I think a lot of this turnaround is when they picked up the gem. I think Alchemist and Nature's Prophet, feeling a little bit too confident with the Shadow Blades with the solo play after that point. And yeah, Whut sort of get driven back onto their side of the map. Now, they have a couple of defensive wards, but just really get caught out by those smokes. And yeah, I just think the overall map movement, MX winning it for now. Though KKK gonna get stuck on bot.
Nice man.
Yeah, the Manta doing exactly what it needed to, just getting him out of the open wins.
Yeah, and they actually just throw out the Spectral Dagger and the Haunt. This will at least spot out where everybody is doing a lot of damage to Nature's Prophet already. The top Sanking in a lot of trouble. A couple more hits of Deadly. Nice burrows. Can he get Blink? Radiant damage isn't done to him. I think he can Blink to the high ground. Not quite. Spectral Dagger, Spectre chasing down 290. One more melee will do it. And that at least is a kill on the Sanking. Not ulting from no. Alchemist Jig maybe seek to dual ticking down those instances of the stable option. Going to try to do his work. There's the lift up, the Telesis from Rubik, and the Fade Bolt. One more. Yes, they at least managed to the Aegis, and this is an okay trade. But Jing maybe doesn't stay in here. He's going to have to run there of nature. A buyback coming from Sandkick. Here's YZB, however, getting locked down in the ice path. Probably unforced, unneeded. Jing is going to get picked off very quickly. Pizai is a sheep, but doesn't really matter. They've lost both the Lifestealer and the Alchemist. Sandking in the end buying back basically for nothing, as neither Alchemist nor Lifestealer actually have their own buyback. And that was just a mistake. No Rage from Lifestealer and no KB from Alchemist when he has the 10-second charge.
Yeah, I just don't know about the re-engage in the slightest there from Whut. Yeah, just getting completely caught. I mean, I don't know if Lifestealer was going to be able to make it out. There were sort of four heroes converging and really good damage, but yeah, it was just weird decision making overall, I think, from the Whut side. And just every single time they get caught out being really, really aggressive, really greedy, always trying to bring down the Spectre, and then the support cast sort of piles into the fight, prop the Spectre back up again, and and they win it out. And now no buyback on, I mean, 60 seconds, a minute without either the Alchemist or the Lifestealer. The bottom and top lanes are in a kind of weird position, so Nature's Prophet might be able to do what Nature's Prophet does best and, you know, force somebody back, but I think MX, they're either going to force down a tier 3 here, or they're going to force those buybacks, which aren't actually there. I mean, they don't know that, but yeah, it's going to get tough. This might be the Rex.
They're just broke. They've run out of the ability to sort of keep up with where the Spectre is going. Now, level 21 Spectre to 17, 17, 15 for these 3 cores and what. They don't even have level 3 Wrath of Nature on the Nature's Prophet. Really, that's just all about that Midas. I mean, he didn't have it. He wasn't able to keep up on the XP, and now I'm sure they're wishing that they had those Midases earlier, but they felt that they had enough of an early game presence that it wasn't worth it. And now Nature's Prophet is just to do a little split push, trying to just screen for the fact that the Lifestealer and Alchemist will not be able to come back. They use the fortification, but in the end, it's even enough. KKK just tanking off the tower, dealing a tremendous amount of damage to it. They can always use the Midas for a little bit of additional. Yet there it is. Tower's down. Nature's Prophet stymied by the Darkseer came back with the Iron Shell up on him, and KK shooting through this melee runs, and MX moving himself closer. Here comes Epicenter doing a bit of damage to Yacht. He did use the Burst, he used the Sandstorm out of here. One more to do the trick, it actually will land off the same. And now they're just getting routed. Rubik so extremely low, Enchantress just warding them off. The Macro Power guarding their escape if they even want to. KKK staying and dealing damage to the ranged racks, and that will be both sets of racks down. Ice tries to come in. Actually get Ice Path again. A major mistake from Leicester. Dropping as he enters with a Rubik as well. Just kind of once again being played chicken with. Really to be raged before he came in. Alchemist coming in. Jinx wants to land on a tip of concoction. Will he run out of time? He's forced to be BKB to make sure that he doesn't concoct himself, and now Alchemist getting run off. He's getting run ragged. He's getting run back to his high ground. The time on the BKB ticking down. Only a couple more seconds left. He's using a concoction, but he's going to. Oh, what a next spell! Long range Jakiro. Very nice play, and that will be a GG from Whut. They felt the game in their grasp. They got a little greedy, and MX punished them. Fight after fight after fight, and that will be Musi taking the second slot out of Group D to head to the LAN finals, and well deserved, I think, with the comeback in this game, base game.
Yeah, fantastically played. They kept their cool. Things are starting to go a little bit badly. They go for what was effectively some risky plays with those smokes up onto cliffs that they couldn't really see where they were headed. But fantastically done. They're going to take it 2-0, and I think I'm looking forward to seeing more of them. They're going to be in the playoffs, and they've got again some super stiff competition. I've never heard of these guys before. The rest of the teams that they're going to be facing up against are, I think, almost household names for Dota now. So this is going to, I'm very interested to see how they perform there.
All right, I definitely agree. Will of course be, folks, July either 12th through 14th or 10th through 14th. I have to confirm that because I don't really see. I don't think it'll take 5.